All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Nothing But the Game. We had a very, very interesting week 2, but before we get into that, what's up, guys? How are you? How's it going?
Man, enjoying it. Staying warm.
I know. I
Right?
mean, it's just crazy, dude. I'm in Buffalo, and it was 80 degrees today, and you look like
Enjoying the nice 40s.
yeah, you look like you're struggling over there a little bit.
Crazy
No,
here
man.
too.
Uh, so, man, a lot to take away from week 2. And before we jump into evaluating power rankings and stuff like that, like let me just get your guys' just quick takes here. Like, what stood out the most from you from week 2?
Man, so obviously everybody's talking about the Miami Baltimore game. That was crazy to watch. I'm gonna go with I never talk about them because I don't want to be a homer, but the Cowboys.
Nice.
Not the man. Yeah, I'll be lying if I said I was thinking we were going to go into that. Figure Cincinnati would come back with a bounce after horrific week 1 presentation. But honestly, what I took away from the Cowboys side of it is that there's a whole lot. There's too much of an emphasis, I think, placed on that quarterback position that with Dak. I think it is a much more of a team built and much more of a team oriented team as opposed to a QB led team. And you see Tony Pollard stepping up. You see a lot of players just getting in there and playing like a team. And in that, I don't know. I can't tell about the chemistry or the atmosphere that is going on with the Cowboys, but it's something that's inconsistent. And I think this week will be huge going up against the Giants to see like how they kind of keep the momentum going. Not by any means saying Cooper Rush is like an answer for the Cowboys. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there needs to be, I think, more of a heavy focus on what this team's identity is. I don't think they even really know. And maybe this can be something they can take out of with the Dak injury. Figure that out.
Yeah, CJ, what about you, dude?
Um,
We'll get back to that in a minute here, Evan.
man, as much as I hate to give this team credit, I mean, are the Eagles legit? Like they beat. I had Minnesota beating them, but man, they ripped them apart. So, and plus, I'll never choose Kirk Cousins as a primetime game ever again. Um, he just man. But I mean, the Eagles, they look good. Jalen played a great game, running, throwing. So yeah, we'll have to see and keep watching them Eagles and see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
for
think
sure.
my
No,
I was
no,
just
it's
jump
all
in.
good.
You said Hurts on there. This list, I think that should have been my biggest takeaway. My way out there prediction at the beginning of the season with Tua and Hurts being top 6, top 8 quarterbacks. I've got a chance here for that to keep going through.
Hey, he keeps playing the way he is.
Yeah, Hurts, man, he's he's showing it.
Yeah, I'm so I want to talk about both of these because they're just both really good takes in like 2 totally different directions, Evan, we've been saying it since the beginning of this show pretty much, right? Organization and culture and um yeah, and I think identity and all that stuff. I think everything that you said about the Cowboys is true. Um, you look at other teams around the league that might be winning or that you don't really expect, and it's more or less the team playing as a team and playing for each other. And I look at the Giants. The Giants are 2-0, and like let's be real here. They don't have the coolest looking roster on paper here, but they are playing for each other, and they're playing not at I don't want to say at a high level, but they're finding ways to win, and that's that's what teams are supposed to do. And I take that away from Cooper Rush stepping in and beating the reigning AFC Championship Super Bowl runner up. Like That is something. Before we continue on to the Jalen Hurts stuff, we do have we have Jacob chiming in. Jacob, yes, we do talk fantasy. We are going to be getting into that later in the show, so feel free to hang out, ask questions, and we'll hopefully touch some of your fantasy football stuff there later. The Jalen Hurts thing, yes, I'm absolutely guilty of the not believing in the Jalen Hurts thing. It's early in the season still, and same with the Tua thing. I've always had this thing for, Oklahoma Sooners, air raid offense. Seriously, you look at some of the guys.
The track record isn't the greatest.
Their track record is not the greatest for producing NFL quarterbacks. Lately, you have Baker, who's like, Jalen Hurts, even though he transferred, like, he had the Heisman year, like, and Kyler Murray, but even so, even though Arizona came back in that game, I'm still not like seeing what I want to see out of Kyler Murray, and especially for the amount of money that they gave him. So, my biggest takeaway was actually, I wanted to talk about the chemistry that is brewing down in Jacksonville. I really do. I think Doug Peterson. All right, I'm sorry. Hold on, guys. We're getting chat coming in. Chat, welcome. Chat, we got. Should I trade Derrick Henry for Austin Eckler?
Oh man, let's
just get into it.
Let's just do that. I'll jump in on that one. I saw your eyes peek up over there, CJ.
The way Tennessee's playing right now, they don't know what direction they're going in. I just think, is it a PPR league?
Yeah. So if it's a PPR, that makes a
Waymar. Is it a PPR league?
Because I would go with on that Austin Eckler. Honestly, everybody's saying the utilization of Austin Eckler is worrying them. Just because it's a lot of the points that he is getting is these dump off passes that are going for 2-3 yards. He is such a fundamental piece of that team. Derrick Henry is as well, but he is utilized in so many different ways where he's that Swiss Army knife, and he can be in there and block. He is a 3-down guy. Derrick Henry in there all 3 downs, but he's not going to be getting the passes by any means, and they're going to start honing in after watching the first 2 weeks of Ryan Tannehill, and there's nothing. He doesn't have any weapons to really throw to, and he's not really making anybody shine with his playability and able to read plays. There's nothing there that is exciting to me, and so in the situation that they're going to be in, Derrick Henry's still going to get his points, but the upside is all on the Austin Eckler to me.
And plus, Derrick Henry's coming off that injury, so who knows? Like, I would feel better with Austin Eckler.
Sorry, so he says that it's not a PPR league, and to kind of piggyback off of what Evan was saying, I would trade Derrick Henry for Austin Eckler simply because, one, I don't even know what the status of Taylor Lewan is right now. He got hurt during the Monday night game, so their offensive line is already dinged up a little bit more. And if they get down in games, I don't think it's like I don't know. That's kind of hard to say now that I say it out loud, because they don't have a number one, and you're not getting production out of Tannehill. The only sufficient thing or production that you might have is Derrick Henry. And now you have question marks surrounding that because of offensive line play. So I just think there's a lot of question marks surrounding Tennessee, and you have a larger upside with Austin Eckler. Go ahead, Derek. Or go ahead, Waymar. I think we all agree that you should trade Derrick Henry for Austin Eckler. That was great. Great question, dude. I love it. We got any more, Jacob? Are you still tuned in, man? What do you what kind of fantasy football talk? I'm all about this. We had a script ready to go, but if chat wants to jump in there and get us going, let's do it.
Well, we can keep flowing because this is a fantasy football show. We just like to talk some of the X's and O's every once in a while at the beginning. But
I do. I mean,
where the heart lies is fantasy football. So
my heart just lies in football, man. I love football. I love the stories behind it, everything. Like, so the continue to talk about Jalen Hurts here. I will say that I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I didn't think that, he's the answer in Philadelphia, but I mean, clearly, and you've seen it now throughout the league, like you get quarterbacks help and you see something different in them. I think Josh Allen's a strong example of that, with the production jump that he had when they brought over Stephon Diggs, and now this AJ Brown trade, and like, and then Jalen Hurts, like the threat of AJ Brown is now creating space for him on the outside. So like now it's not,
and he's feeding his team. He's feeding multiple targets.
Yes. Yeah, I mean Dallas Goddard once again, super productive week. I have him going into the season as rated as one of my highest tight ends. So yeah, I think, I don't know if the hype around, Philadelphia Bills Super Bowl is there, but I do think Dallas needs to watch out because Philly's definitely coming. Philly's definitely coming, and I think that they're definitely they're the team to beat.
They're the head honcho right now
for sure
in
the East.
Legit schedule, like they could definitely, they'll probably win the division. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's early in the season. It's the NFL. Weird things always happen and ups and downs. But the way they're presenting themselves, putting their best foot forward, you can see what they can do early on in the season. As long as they can keep it going and not turn into Arizona, where the other half of the season always flops. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. It was just a really crazy week of football. It really was. Like you have comebacks and
Joe
Flacco.
Like, man.
I was offered it. All right, so this is Waymar saying I was offered a trade. I was offered to trade Derrick Henry, Tua, and Keenan Allen for Mahomes, Eckler, and Rashad Bateman.
Oh, I would go Eckler and Bateman.
I would take that 100%.
Yeah.
I would take that 100% because you know what you're getting out of Mahomes for sure.
And I love Rashad Bateman.
Rashad Bateman, I mean, he had the 75-yard reception. I mean, he's getting his targets. Keenan Allen is, he is obviously durability is a question. It always kind of has been with Keenan Allen. He's either productive or he's hurt. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that to me, I would accept that trade in a heartbeat. I mean, you want to send me that trade? I'll do it right now, dude. So, absolutely,
smash grab.
Absolutely. I think that is a extremely safe play, and you win. I think you win that trade, no doubt. Well, since we're on, I mean, I was gonna dive into the power rankings just to talk a little football, but since we're on the topic of fantasy football, like why not? Do you guys want to get into our yays and nays this week? I love that, by the way. We're rolling with that.
Yeah. Yay and nay.
The yays and nays. So welcome everybody to our yays and nays segments. This is our stardom situms here for.
We just need to put on. I feel like we should put on some wigs, like they do over in England.
Heary, right?
Yes.
Oh man, CJ. So all right. So last week we did it like what's your start and what's your sit, but this I want to kind of carry this out a little bit. So I just want to hear yays first round of yays.
Are we talking about last week's yays?
Oh, do we want to talk about last week's yays?
Just to compare. Yeah, let's do it.
Why not? Right?
So I went with Darnell Henderson from the Rams. I will start him over Cam Akers, and he he was out touched, but he scored a touchdown. So he went 10 for 47 and 1 TD. Cam Akers went 15 carries, 44 yards, and 0 touchdowns. So I
Nice.
mean,
So this week, who's your yay?
all right. So I'm gonna take James Robinson. Jacksonville. He's definitely out carrying NTN. You know, he's got almost 44 carries, and he's had over 60 yards and 1 TD for week 1 and week 2. So I'm taking James Robinson.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Evan.
No, I was going to say. I mean, I would love to echo it. It's not a bad pick by any means because I mean, what ETN got less than 10 touches, I think, like 8. You said, yeah, it's crazy. And Robinson is proven to be that just consistent, but he's got the big play. Yeah, he's trustworthy. ETN is still gonna that established connection with Lawrence will continue to flourish on that receiving side. I think ETN could possibly come out as like a safety blanket for him, where he knows he can trust him in certain spots, and where it is. But right now, as an actual running back, yeah, Robinson is proving to be the more coach trusted player.
Right. So this is like to your point there. This is kind of that idea of where like this is where football and fantasy football separate themselves. I like that idea that he's Lawrence's safety blanket, right? I'm gonna be able to trust this guy. I'm gonna know where he's at on the field. But is he really gonna get his looks and his touches though, right? Or is this more of a in-game concept where James Robinson has absolutely been proven year after year that he is, that he can handle a workload, and once again he is still doing that. I mean, I was gonna talk about just the Jacksonville Jaguars in general earlier in the show, but since you kind of bring them up, I think they're vibing down there offensively, and I think they're only going to progress. I think Doug Peterson was absolutely the answer that they needed there. Chemistry or culture and coaching is everything. So I like that a lot. I think James Robinson is definitely a safe pick. Here we go. We got another question here. I also got another trade. I got another trade. This is Waymar still. Waymar, I love that you're jumping in here on the chat, man. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
I got another trade. Russell Wilson, Derrick Henry, Keenan Allen for Jalen Hurts, A.J. Dillon, DJ Moore. Woo!
A.J. Dillon, DJ Moore, and who?
Jalen Hurts. I take that trade simply for Jalen Hurts. I think the upside of Jalen Hurts outweighs all three of those. And you have this, DJ Moore is obviously having issues right now in regards to fantasy because of the lack of production on Carolina's offense. I mean, opening drive, they fumble. He did get a touchdown last week, but it was like, how do I say it? It was like Baker had to go find him. It was like, okay, I need to go find DJ Moore because he's like my number one receiver and I have to get him a touchdown. Right? Like that's what it felt like to me. It felt like such a forced play. I mean, granted,
which is reminiscent of Baker in Cleveland.
Right.
I mean, it's the exact same thing. He can never actually, and it's a Baker thing. It's not a DJ Moore thing to me.
Right. It's definitely a Baker thing, but I think the upside of Jalen Hurts, outvalues all of those players
Russell
right now.
Massively.
So again, but now wait. So these are the same kind of. So now I'm looking at your trade offers here, Waymar, and you have one for Derrick Henry, Tua, and Keenan Allen, and you're gonna get Mahomes, Eckler, and Bateman. So out of the two offers, I'm on the same page as you are, dude. I'm on the same page as you are. All right, you guys. So this is what he's asking. Ready? He's asking this. He's asking Derrick Henry, Tua, Keenan Allen. So these are his guys. For Mahomes, Eckler, and Bateman, or Russell Wilson, Derrick Henry, Keenan Allen. For Hurts, A.J. Dillon, DJ Moore. I'm absolutely 100% taking the first trade.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
First trade, dude. No doubt.
Mahomes, his ceiling, then Eckler and Bateman. Yeah, all day, every day.
Twice on Sunday.
And what the thing with Russ, I do not like their offense. They keep saying let Russ cook. It's not looking promising right now. It's just like I don't know what it is. I couldn't figure out if Houston defense was playing good or just what was going on in that Denver game. But I don't like how Russ is playing right now with that offense. So,
No, I don't either. I mean, and even the throws that he is getting downfield, they look like they're forced throws. They don't. There looks like there's no kind of design plays, hot routes or anything like that. Like this, nothing is designed for these wide receivers at all. But then on the flip side, I don't feel like they're letting, like when they're running the ball, I don't think they're letting their guys get going either. Like Javonte Williams will carry the ball for 12 yards and then you pull him the next play. You ride that, dude. And they're not doing that. And that's why they're in these, nail biter games with teams like Seattle and Houston. I mean, granted, I am low key a Houston fan here, but so I'm not really degrading the Houston Texans here. But the Nathaniel Hackett play calling and like I don't know, it's either play caller or is he just their coach? Like, I mean, I know he's coming over from offensive coordinator for Green Bay, but is he also calling the plays? Because if he's calling the plays, like, all right, man, it might be time to, take the child safety locks off and let these guys go to town and be professionals, because it's like the most conservative gameplay or play calling. That's what I was trying to say, that I've ever seen. So, yeah, man. I don't know if my brother's watching, but he just sent me this, and I'm going to show you guys this because I just think this is awesome. Let's see if we can see it. Can you guys see that?
Oh, dear goodness.
Oh yeah, that's how we ride. That's how we ride up here in Buffalo. I love it.
Oh.
Bills Mafia for sure, 100%. Oh man, I gotta. So we were on Yays and Nays. This is a great show. I'm loving this. I'm loving this, dude. I love winging it. I'm feeling amped up right now. Evan, we're going to jump over to you, dude. Let's talk about your picks last week and who's your yay this week.
Yeah, so last week I felt kind of good on it. I threw my situm was or nay on there was Juju Smith. I just didn't think with that game they had going on he was going to do anything, and he did worse than I honestly thought he was going to. Just the targets that he had received. And then my yay on there was Jeff Wilson Jr. It may have been a cop-out being the fact that he's coming in for Elijah Mitchell, but I thought that he was going to get good production. He ended up being like a top 16. I was thinking a top 20 running back. He was in the top 16, 15 range there, I guess depending on your score setting. So that worked out pretty well. I want to try to find these guys that are hovering in that top 24 range when it comes to those players. So the guy I'm going with this week is a bigger name, but it's got a lot of people not liking it. Maybe because Russell Wilson is no longer throwing him the ball. But I got DK Metcalf I'm putting in as my yay this week. I know he hasn't produced a lot, but going up against ATL, man, watch them. I think this is going to be a little bit more of a shootout in this game. And look at the receivers that they've actually gone up against and allowed scores with. Michael Thomas, first week, did great against them. Got the big body size in the end zone, got multiple touchdowns. Allen Robinson last week, not the same body size. Metcalf is a freak. He's a unique guy. But with those types of receivers, I think Metcalf is going to go get a touchdown this week, along with get peppered with some targets. He'll be a good one. If anything, I think he could be in your top 15, maybe top 12 wide receiver this week.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the DK Metcalf play just because I don't think anybody. It's almost like he vanished off the map since Russell Wilson's gone. But I don't think that's merely the situation there. But I can't lie though. I do love Atlanta. I love what Atlanta's doing right now. Like they were even in that game at the end of with LA. Mm-hmm. They were in it at the end. Might have been a fluke play, but
they were there.
They were there. So last week, Evan, you had said so Juju Smith-Schuster was your he was your sit-em.
Yeah.
That was a really. So I'm just curious, what was your thought process in that? Because you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah. So I mean, I know he was coming into it rather hot. After week 1, he's the target that maybe Mahomes could be trusting. I thought that really it's that line of the Chargers was going to put more pressure on Mahomes a lot more, and Juju is inconsistent from historically showing, and I think it was going to be more of a Mahomes his biggest gift is it doesn't matter what number you are. Now obviously with Kelsey, he's trusted, it's reliable. With Hill, trusted and reliable, but he'll make any guy, be it Byron Pringle, Albert Wilson, I don't know, all the different guys that they've had.
Yeah.
Mecole Hardman ended up being this last week. That was mainly the case there. I thought it was going to be a lot more of the slant in type stuff, which Mecole Hardman ended up showing it was.
Right. Absolutely. I guess. Well,
So it's on you now.
I know. All right. So I just want to say that I was like 50% on this. Okay. All right. I'm gonna take a little credit here. So last week I said start Zay Jones. I know that sounds like Zay Jones, but it came out as Christian Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I really said. All right. Zay Jones.
Start Jacksonville wide receiver.
Start Jacksonville wide receiver. That's what I really said. So anybody that tuned in last week, you heard me say Zay Jones, I was just, I don't know, tongue twisted with Jacksonville wide receiver. No. Last week I said start Zay Jones. I had the right idea. It was Christian Kirk. So the chemistry between Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk is really popping off, which is great to see considering the money that they paid for him.
Yeah.
So like for me going into this, I thought that Jacksonville overpaid for wide receivers, and obviously it reset the entire wide receiver market, right? But it seems to be so far so good. Like Christian Kirk has had 2 really good weeks in fantasy football. So that's really good for them. My sit last week, I had said sit Christian McCaffrey. And I know that sounds stupid and silly and everything like that, but it really, he ended up being like running back 5, right? Is that what you had in your ranking? I had him at 5. He ended up having like 15 carries for 102 yards, 4 receptions for some jams, but like
still lost though.
They still lost. He didn't have a touchdown, and they fumble the football on the first play. Like it just, to me, sitting Christian McCaffrey was simply because I don't think team chemistry is there in Carolina at all right now. And that was my philosophy behind it. I didn't think Derrick Henry had a good week 1 against the Giants. So then like rolling over, I was like, all right, maybe Christian McCaffrey's that, and clearly I was wrong. You're crazy if you're ever going to sit Christian McCaffrey. But I was trying to make a point that I don't think the chemistry is there in Carolina. However, today's like real stardom sit-ems, like this is where it really counts, guys. Okay.
You've calibrated your thoughts here.
I did. I'm no longer going to look like a clown on the podcast anymore. Okay. No longer. You get professional Tim or professional Fitz here. My stardom this week is Tyler Higbee for the Los Angeles Rams. All right, they are playing the Arizona Cardinals. They have given up the most fantasy football points to tight ends. Tyler Higbee is at 25% target share. 25%. I mean, you got Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp. Tyler Higbee is getting 25% of those targets.
Yeah, that's
huge
impressive.
Production, dude. Huge production. So that is my absolute stardom. It's a guarantee this week. Go for it. And if not, you can come back and you can banter.
And
you can banter.
And is it only this year either? It's with Arizona being bleeding points to tight ends. Last year, it was the exact same thing. Yeah. So it's not one of those things that's like, oh, it's only 2 weeks in. No, Arizona has bled points to tight ends consistently.
And it's so crazy to me because, like, Budda Baker is one of my favorite players to watch, right? I think he is stellar at the safety position. And this is more or less teams figuring out, ways to scheme that tight end open against them. I mean, Budda he also comes up and he plays in the box a lot, right? He's an extremely talented safety. So, but yeah, Tyler Higbee, guarantee this week. Go for it. Trust me on that one.
You got a stat line for him?
Oh wow, you want him to get a stat?
Oh man, all right. So all right, week one he had 11 targets. Last week he had 9 targets. So I'm gonna say Tyler Higbee is 8 for 10. 8 for 10 and a touchdown this week for, I don't know, we'll say 55 yards. Right? That's
tasty.
Pretty, that's pretty
I'll
good.
I'll take that line all day.
Yeah. I think that was pretty good too.
I had somebody due to the Kittle being injured. I'm curious what your thought is on this, because I know you're quite low on Kittle fits. I had somebody offer me, it's a dynasty league, Kittle for Higbee straight up.
Oh,
just straight up. And I'm already pretty plentiful on that team. I won't say which way I ended up going with it, but I just thought it was interesting. I thought of you the moment I got that offer. I was like, damn.
I would have done it.
You were taking Higbee?
I would have taken Higbee just because there's just always health issues with Kittle. George Kittle is a phenomenal tight end, and super productive when he's on the field. But it's the same situation with Keenan Allen, man. Productive on the field or nothing. And for me, playing fantasy football, I always want production. I think you have, a higher probability of having a player on the field to have a productive game, obviously, than you do not having a player at all starting that game. So, yep. I mean, if anybody else doesn't think that way, I don't know what we're doing here. So, I got to know now. Did you do it?
What was that?
I was gonna say, could you gotten more for Kittle?
Yeah, so I countered back to get Kittle, Higbee, and I wanted a third style, like a tier 3 wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
It's a best ball league, so being that you add the stacks in there, I was that best ball mentality of get a lot of guys that have the potential to get points. Same thing as you were saying. You only want to get points if you're on the field.
Right.
So yeah, I ended up going with it, but I got an extra guy out of it.
Who's the extra guy? Come on, man. You're just
I have to go back over here and see the amount of leagues I'm in and whatnot. Let me see if I can find it real quick, y'all.
Okay.
Let's go while you look for it. What's nay for over there on CJ?
Yeah, CJ, what's your nay this week, man?
So I went with a receiver. I went with Darnell Mooney from Chicago. He's only been targeted 5 times out of 89 snaps, and he's got a total of 4 yards in 2 games. I know the first game was a crazy weather game, but I don't feel good against, in Houston. I'm telling you, like, there's something about that defense. So I would sit Darnell Mooney until he proves that he is a legit shot on this offense with Justin Fields. So.
Hey, man, I can't. Yeah, I'm loving Justin Fields, the little swagger that he's got going on right now, and then maybe some of the confidence there. But yeah, it is still the how can he feed those players on a fantasy wise? I'm right there with you. I'm always been a little weary of him coming out of college, basically off of the consistency of that he can do on the pro level. He's super exciting, but yeah, I could jump on board with that with you this week.
Like even Cole Kmet, I thought would have a great season right now. He hasn't done anything either on that offense.
Yeah, it's a little scary on those types of stuff. So the hot hype coming into the season too. It's just, I mean, that's the preseason hype, all that stuff. It's always the case, all the noise in the wind.
Well, kind of back to the ETN thing too. Like ETN's ADP was so high because of the preseason hype, and like, I mean, granted, it's only week 2, right? So we're obviously working with what we know here, not we can't tell the future. but it's not looking good. I'm trying to. I don't want to cop out here, like, but I feel like I'm going to because I don't really have a situm. It's kind of hard for me to figure out a situm.
It's a nay.
It's a nay. My nay. I'm sorry. My nay this week is Chase Edmonds. Chase. You might be starting Chase Edmonds in your flex. I know in some leagues I've been, because he's like one of two running backs that I have. Like, I've been happy to start him. You know what I mean? But I mean, Buffalo is clearly shut down the run. I mean, 50 yards. I think he gave up 50 yards to Darrell Henderson week 1, and then Derrick Henry had 22 yards rushing. I mean, if this game's going to be a shootout, it is. It's going to be wide receiver heavy. I don't see Chase Edmonds really getting involved. If he does, he gets involved in the passing game. But even so, running backs aren't even. They're not even doing anything against. So, like, Chase Edmonds, just he can ride the bench this week, guys.
Yeah, man, I don't blame you there. It's
also speaking of Buffalo, I was gonna say good news for Dante Jackson about that hit.
So, Dane Jackson, yes.
Dane Jackson, yeah, man. Yep. That was scary.
It was a pretty ridiculous hit, and yeah, he was he recovered well, and he's walking out of the hospital the next day, and
yeah,
and all good things there. So yes, prayers up for him, and I'm glad that he got out of the hospital just fine. So, Evan, who is your situm this week, or your nay? I got
nay. So before I get it, found the trade. It was I got KJ Osborne, so a nice boomer bust type wide receiver.
Yeah,
out of
absolutely.
Minnesota. So I like his ability. Even, and I don't even know why people were, whenever they made that Jalen Reagor move, saw some tweets of people being like, "Oh shoot, what's this mean for Osborne?" Osborne's, I think he's a legit dude. He's exciting. But my situm for this week, I hate talking more about this team, but it is good old Russ Wilson. I'm sitting him. I don't care. Now, obviously, super flex league, you're going to be playing him, but man, if you've got options, man, I don't even know, and it's super flex even. Hit us up if you got questions on that, because let me know what your quarterback room looks like.
We have another trade discussion. Does
it involve Russell Wilson?
No, it does not. But this is Jackson jumping into our chat. Jackson's asking, do I trade James Conner, Cooper Kupp, Chris Godwin, and TJ Hawkinson for Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Deebo Samuel, Derrick Henry, and George Kittle?
I mean, yes.
Yeah, I think, well, man, yeah, because, like, you're looking at value, like, Cooper Kupp's really the only thing that's worth value on your side of the trade. And in return, you're getting Amon-Ra, who is, if you guys have followed us on Twitter or on TikTok or anything like that, we are big Amon-Ra St. Brown fans here. We've been praising him since the offseason, and we'll probably continue to do so. So yes, you have huge upside in Amon-Ra. Deebo is clearly a valuable asset there in San Francisco, and with Jimmy Garoppolo being back behind the center there, yeah,
his value goes up.
Yeah, his value goes way up.
And also, I think the top two running backs from the 49ers are hurt, so that's even more value. So yeah, I definitely like the second one.
So like taking everything out of it. I mean, in reality, I feel like you're just trading Cooper Kupp here for Amon-Ra and Deebo. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would.
I know, Jackson, you're just tuning in. We kind of touched on Derrick Henry earlier, where we don't think the value of Derrick Henry is he's obviously still an RB1, but I don't think his value is as high as it has been in years past. So if this is a dynasty league, I'm for sure trading him.
Oh yeah.
So and then George Kittle is boom or bust. If he's healthy or if he's not. If he's healthy, he's productive. If he's not healthy, he's on the bench. He's out. So it's really, yeah, I would hands down do that trade.
And I believe James Conner's hurt right now, so.
Yeah, and I mean he's not getting, James Conner stepped up to the RB1 position there, and the big hype of James Conner going into it was his red zone, zone capabilities, and they're not really being Arizona's really not being productive in the red zone right now. And he's not getting those touches in the red zone, so I feel like his value has gone way down. So yeah, I for sure would do that trade. I mean, I just hope whoever you're trading is not listening, because
that'd be very unlikely, but if so, we love it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. Oh, he said.
So, yeah.
Oh man, this is even greater news. So he's gonna go accept it because somebody offered that. Yeah.
Oh, they offered that to him.
Can we get
shoot?
Can we get a clapping machine on the CJ? CJ, don't you have a clapping machine?
I just gotta hook it up.
Yeah, we gotta get that.
Yeah, I was about to say, you gotta get wired in.
We gotta get that hooked up, man. Because yes, go get that, dude. And I hope you win your league.
Yeah, let us know how you do. Yeah,
man.
Heck yeah.
Be sure to tune in and keep tuning in every week and let us know how you're doing, because I think that's an awesome trade. All right, man. So back to your Russell Wilson point. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but we got chat.
I'm all down for getting involved with everybody on the chat. That's way more important.
Yeah.
Just a Russell Wilson thing, quick and brief. I think what they need to rely on is the Javonte Williams. Oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank on Melvin Gordon? A combo. Javonte Williams is the man there, with Jerry Jeudy possibly being banged up, injured. I don't know the complete status, but I know he was dinged up a little bit. Yeah. I like what they have there. I just think this is going to have to be more of a. You might start seeing a turnaround come week 5, week 6 with that team, but they have to identify. They have to realize that their team is running. Like that Javonte Williams is the best player on that offense.
Absolutely, hands down, dude. Like this guy. Like I was saying earlier, man. I mean, he's averaging. I don't even know what he's averaging per carry right now, but I've seen this guy break.
His contact balance is just
yes.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I remember watching him in North Carolina, and I was just hoping he'd get onto a team that would utilize him in such a way. And I think Denver is that team, because his contact balance is just, and his burst ability. That's all you in the NFL is, if you can actually make those plays and have the vision to continue them. That's where so many running backs, you see the issues of, depending on what kind of offense they ran in college, they're limited on if it's a zone or a gap type offense. And you see guys that are able to actually, like him, read it and bounce it and embrace that contact on purpose to go get more yardage, not trying to avoid it and tiptoe around. He's going to be, he's so exciting. I love it.
I got a couple stats for you. He's averaging 5.4 yards per carry. He's got 7 forced missed tackles. He averaged almost 4 yards after contact, and he has 5 explosive 10+ runs.
Yeah, I mean,
he
is a weapon that I don't feel like they are utilizing.
Nah,
they're not utilizing enough, right? So like.
He has his Marshawn Lynch right there next to him. He should know how to utilize. Plus, I mean, Marshawn Lynch did out of the backfield too. I'm not trying to compare the two, but Russ can feed, and he's a great receiving running back too. Like he can
a better receiver than runner. Like he's really third. Yeah, he's the receiving back on PFF. Like he's
everything you need. So that's what they need to run it through, and that's why, to me, they need to embrace that identity and don't start Russell Wilson in your fantasy league.
Don't start Russ.
Let Russ sit.
Nice.
Jackson says he's 100% going to be tuning in. The new team thanks to y'all. Lamar Fournette. So this is his team. Lamar, Fournette, Derrick Henry, Amon-Ra, Debo, Kittle, Keenan Allen. I think it's Deontay Johnson, Curtis Samuel on the bench. 12-man PPR. That sounds like a killer roster, dude. I'm pretty
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked for you. I can't wait. And let's talk about Carson Wentz and Jahan Dotson and Curtis Samuel and what's kind of happened. So I don't think Carson Wentz is, I don't think he's a top 10 or whatever quarterback, but I mean he is distributing the ball. I mean, this is the most production that we've seen out of Curtis Samuel in 2 years.
Right.
So he's a nice flex. Jahan Dotson's definitely stepped up and is playing like a professional for his rookie season. I mean, just to kind of talk about, I think the NFC East is gonna. I mean, this week you got Philadelphia's playing Washington.
Washington.
And it's gonna be and this is kind of like the garbage time points that I was talking about earlier. I think Washington is the perfect example of those garbage time points. I really do, because I mean they were getting smoked by Detroit, and that's where you see Carson Wentz, ends up throwing two more touchdowns. He ended up putting up a 30-point week in fantasy football, and that's garbage time, man. They weren't. I don't think they were coming back in that game, were they? I'm trying to recap it in my head now. I think that maybe they were battling back a little bit, but
for any points in the first half, and they scored all 27 in the second half.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, I think my point is kind of made there. They were definitely down in that game, and they.
I was gonna say, which is crazy though. St. Brown, dude, I think he scored a touchdown in his last 8 or 9 games that he's played in, which is ridiculous.
Wing Dragon Raw, dude.
I
Summon!
And the way he was getting drafted, I think 3rd, 4th, 5th round. So
yeah, no,
he's amazing value.
So we only got a few minutes left in the show here, and we really didn't get into our pick'ems this week. So up to you guys. We can either do our pick'ems, or I just had this idea that just kind of came into my head, and I just wanted to spitball it here. So we're kind of on that spitball type of show today. Trey Lance is obviously hurt, or he's done for the season. He was, he was drafted higher simply because of his upside.
Right.
Who do you go out to replace him?
On your fantasy roster, waiver wire style?
Yeah, waiver wire style. Yeah, waiver wire. I mean, clearly the IPAs are kicking in a little bit here, all right?
Man, I'd have to know what the ownership percentages, because in my mind, and honestly, I'm 98% of my leagues are dynasty, so it's a little bit of a different beast.
Yeah, so I guess I'm in a 10-person redraft. And the reason I asked this is because I had him as my QB1.
So this is use the last 10 minutes for selfish purpose here.
No, never. I would never do that. I would never do that. But long story short, the guy's available. So I went and picked up Marcus Mariota.
Oh, I like it.
I'm trying to think of guys that would be available. You got Marcus Mariota, Jared Goff. Carson Wentz is still available in leagues. I actually had Matt Ryan. I dropped Matt Ryan. Oh, here we go. Jackson's got another question.
I would go Jared Goff, by the way.
Jared, yes, that's where I was at. I was I liked Mariota. I picked up Mariota because Jared Goff wasn't available, but yeah, I like Jared Goff in this situation to replace Trey Lance for sure. That
Oh,
That's
yeah.
really the answer that I wanted to hear you guys say, or that I wanted to hear you say. But Jackson says, what's your thoughts with people constantly drafting Scary Terry or year after year of disappointment for his ADP?
I was saying I love his talent. I love his ability. It's the team that he's been on for the longest time. I mean, I had his shares of him on my dynasty leagues. I have no shares of him now because I was trading him away coming in. It's the name I think is more than anything that has been getting it. But like you just mentioned, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, even Logan Thomas, they've all produced on the same level or more than him, and he's like the third or fourth fantasy production wise on that receiving core right now. Obviously, that won't be the case. It'll even out, and he got paid for a reason. They know the talent that he has, but yeah, the ADP that he had been going into the season is a little. It was a bit inflated. I had it deflated because I don't like Carson Wentz.
This is where I love the idea of best ball, though.
Oh my god, I love yes.
You know, this is where like best ball drafting is massive, because you're best ball drafting. You're drafting for upside, right? You're drafting guys for the big explosive games, and that's where I think, you know, Terry McLaurin comes into play, is, you know, his ability to get downfield, stretch the defense, and big play opportunity with him.
But with his ADP there, so I'll kind of counter it, I guess, with Jackson's question. I know we're not talking best ball all round, but with that mindset, you know, I can't remember where he was going. I don't own him, so I clearly wasn't snagging him there. But wherever he was landing, you could probably end up getting a better tier 3, tier 2 running back in that realm. Do we have the ADP like as to where he was by any chance?
I'm trying to pull it up right now on our rankings that we did.
Well, for those who are listening, I know we're kind of gearing over on the best ball side. If you haven't jumped in, one of the greatest things out there is Dynasty Best Ball. Because you're still managing your team full blown. You still assemble the players. You're still making the trades and finding the value in the guys that you like long-term wise. But at the same time, you're not having that pull your hair out struggle of, you know, you're assembling the best team overall, essentially, what you can build. And some of these rosters that you see that end up starting where it's like, you know, Isaiah McKenzie is your number 2 wide receiver for the week.
Right.
those types of things. Well, definitely go try it out.
That's what happened to me this week. I had Nelson Aguilar, who had a big game for New England, and then I think Justin Watson had he caught 2 passes, 50 yards and touchdown. So for Kansas City, I'm
so sorry, guys. I'm trying to find this ADP. Jackson, feel free to tune in if you have the Terry McLaurin ADP, and then we could really kind of dive into this question a little bit more.
We're gonna recruit your assistants here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have so many downloaded files and folders and all these shebangs here. Sleeper ADP Excel spreadsheet. I got it. Hold on. So in regards to Dynasty ADP, Dynasty PPR ADP, filter. This is entertaining.
Yeah, and I'm over here trying to get this stuff on the. Clearly, we like to do the off the cuff stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, I appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight and was asking questions. You know, we love this, and this is what we're here for. We're here for you. We love football. We love fantasy football, and we simply do this podcast for the love of it, and we want to just share that. You know, this is the podcast is called Nothing But the Game, because that's really what we want to talk about here is nothing but the game, right? Nothing but the game, fantasy football, what's happening in the NFL, you know, in terms of teams. Like we don't want to dive into any of the drama. We really don't. So Terry McLaurin was being drafted, Dynasty PPR 35, redraft redraft 38. So he's around the same, he's in the same area. So, a 12-person league.
And that's overall?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I would take St. Brown. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I wasn't even thinking it was that high.
Amon-Ra, come on, dude. Where you at?
And you're still, and like I was saying, with this whole,
put it in put it in perspective for you guys. Yes, Amon-Ra was 62 and 68, so 30 spots after Terry McLaurin, right? So this is,
yeah.
I mean, if only we could do a fantasy football draft here mid-season, right?
Hindsight's always a fun one. No, but I mean, it really is. You're looking at just that Washington offense in general. Personally, if you have, you'd be selling low right now with McLaurin. He's going to have his weeks. He's going to bump back up there, and he's definitely going to come back. It's just that's what that offense is. You're going to have a receiver go off. It's like kind of trying to guess which New England running back's going to go off. If they go off.
If they go off. way to close that out, dude. So that's about it. That's what's it's going to do it for the show tonight. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. I really do. And all the questions. We love it. The trade offers.
Yes.
I mean, man, we could go on and on and on for those. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Keep us updated.
Yeah, keep us updated. Tune in next week. Let us know how these trades are turning out for you.
Yes.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at EBTG_podcast. You can check us out on TikTok as well. We're having a little fun over there. We didn't get to our pick'ems this week, so we'll post those on Twitter so that you guys can just see where we're at. I'm pretty sure Evan is leading the pack right now, right? You got one win over us.
He's got one.
Miami pulled it out for me this week, so
yeah. Did I really pick New England?
No, we all picked.
You mean Baltimore?
Oh, Baltimore, yes.
Oh, yeah, the Baltimore-Miami game. Yeah, y'all picked Baltimore.
I picked Baltimore. But yes, anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we will see you then. Thank you.
Yep. Good night.